Hey guys, it's Barrett with the Gimping Camper. So I got just this hunch a few months ago that I just wanted to install a bidet on the RV toilet. It was around Prime Day, so I was looking for a couple of decent deals on some bidets. So, you know, I thought I'd get a couple of different ones, and the Prime limit did limit to one per order, so that kind of threw it into me getting a couple of different ones, one for the house and one for the camper. I will say that I ran into a little bit of issues with both the house and the camper when I installed it. In the one in the house, I just had to replace my toilet seat before it would attach properly, just because the bolts, it was a little weird the way that they were made, and they just wouldn't work. You know, I replaced that one a few months ago, and that seems to be working out okay. Now, I will say that, you know, I thought that this was going to be life-changing, because that's what everybody always says, and, you know, help decrease the amount of toilet paper. And we'll get into all that in a little while, but let's talk about the bidets right now. So the two bidets that we do have, I am going to list with some Amazon links down in the description if you want to check those out. We are an Amazon affiliate, and they will help the channel. So if you're going to buy one, we'd appreciate it if you use our links. But, you know, let's talk about the obstacles that we had when putting it in the camper, because that's what we're here for. And the first step that we did was, you know, go and cover all those threaded connections with Teflon tape. Then I added the plastic, like, semicircular piece that comes with both of them into the seat of the bidet. That kind of helps keep it from sliding around. And, you know, that's all that's for. It looks a little weird when you first get it out, but it's so your toilet seat doesn't slide around. And then I put the toilet seat back on and passed those screws through and secured the bidet base to the toilet, as well as the toilet seat. And all that, no problem at all. Now, if you watch a few different videos on installing bidets in RVs, you'll see that there are a number of issues, and that the water supply line mostly comes up out of the floor right into the toilet. Doesn't give you any room to add anything else to or anything like that. There's about 3 to 4 inches of that pipe sticking out of the floor and going straight in the toilet. You know, you also see a lot of examples of what people do when they say, don't do it this way. I'm getting ready to give you some examples of my don't do it this ways as well. Because, you know, it seems like an easy thing, and you're just adding a water line. There's a water line there, you're just adding something off of it, and it should be easy, but it was really more in-depth than you would think. Number one, I didn't have my PEX crimper with me because I'm in northern Michigan. It's at home. And so I was trying to use some shark bite fitting. So, you know, I added a shutoff to the pipe, which comes right out of the floor, which, you know, is a good idea anyway, and I suggest that anybody do that. And then I bought a T that had a 3/8 compression fitting, and I thought, well, this is going to work great. But I decided right after that T initially to use some 90-degree shark bite fittings, because I was just trying to basically go up, over, and back down into where that initial toilet fitting was, because you can't add something in there. There's not enough room between basically the turn to get into the toilet and the floor, so you're going to have to go up a little bit. And so my plan was to go up and then just 90 degree over right, 90 degree back down, and then, you know, that tilted a little bit, 90 degree right into the back of the toilet. However, I turned that thing on, and it was like, womp, 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 and it just leaked all over the place. And then the reason, I think, was because those 90-degree fittings, that had some pressure on them because it wasn't straight. Because remember, you're starting with the straight pipe, and then you're adding all this stuff, and you're trying to go right back to where it was. So it had a little bit of tension on it, and, you know, it just caused it to leak. So the direction I ended up going with the supplies that I could find here locally was I got another valve that had a 3/8 fitting on the end, a compression fitting. And, you know, it is a cutoff, so now I have 3 cutoffs. I have one cutoff at the floor, I have one cutoff going to the bidet, and I have one cutoff going to the toilet. So I got cutoffs galore. I was actually going to take the one off that right at the floor, but I was afraid that I didn't have enough pipe, and I was going to, you know, lose it in the bottom of the camper, and I just got all aggravated, and I just left them on there. So we can cut it off and cut it off and cut it off. So the next obstacle that I had was going from a 3/8 compression fitting to a 1/2-inch swivel female fitting. So that's what the toilet takes. So for this, I ended up getting an adapter to go from 3/8 back to a 1/2-inch MIP. And then I got a 1/2-inch swivel adapter to put on the MIP that had shark bite. So that allowed that to go back to the PEX fitting. And what I did there is that was shark bite. And so I just took the original one that was on the camper to save a little bit of parts, even though I done spent like $5,000 in shark bite fittings. And then I put that one back on there, and then in that way that original like swivel female connector just attached back to the toilet. And then I thought I made it to the finish line, but I turned on the bidet and it looked like that little buddy just needed some Flomax for his little prostate issues, because it was just a drippy, 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 drippy. You know, I was using a water pump, but I figured the pressure was fine. I mentioned this on a Facebook group, and somebody told me that they thought they remembered when they installed theirs that they had to move that bidet forward a little bit because the curvature of the toilet hit the sprayer, which makes sense because when I pushed the sprayer down, it worked fine. However, so I loosened those screws, I moved it forward, and then I turned it on, and then it shot me right in the belly like it's supposed to. Even though I should have been smart and covered it up. But what can I say? I just didn't have a lot of faith that it was going to work. So as far as using the bidet, like I say, it wasn't a life-changing experience that often people talk about. But, you know, I thought that might help save some toilet paper. And I didn't realize till I was messing with it, like, in there. Because I kept, like, trying to get it to work and squirt properly. Exactly how much water comes out of that thing, because it filled the toilet bowl up decently fast. And so, you know, if you're in an area where you're trying to conserve water, obviously that's not going to work too well. But if you have like full hookups, you're trying to reduce toilet paper in your tank, then that would be a good option. You know, you still have to do the little wipey a little bit with something. Some people use like rags and stuff. I'm not even going to get in that conversation. Just like I'm not going to get in the conversation about putting your toilet paper in the trash can, because it's not for me, and I don't advocate that. But you do you, I do me, and you're going to say, well, now you're washing your butt off with a water hose. Well, I am. Truthfully, I just thought it might help with some medical stuff, which I won't get into. Not going to take you down gross road. But I'm going to say that, you know, a lot of people really like them. I didn't really find it made that big of a difference. But if you're trying to cut down on the toilet paper and you got tanks where you can dump your water into, sewer hose, then go for it. Because, I mean, as far as its operation, it's a sprayer. It sprays your little booty. And so, you know, if you like that kind of thing, it's all for it. And these two that I got, they both worked pretty well after I got them installed correctly. And if you're interested, they're not very much. I think that I got them both for less than $30 on Prime Day. But, you know, the prices can fluctuate a lot. Anyway, guys, so thanks for following the video. Thanks for being part of our family. Be sure to follow us next week for next week's video as well.
Do not forget to hit that subscribe button.